Hey, my epics, Vine Epics here. I wanted to bring a different type of vid today. I just saw, well, last night, I just saw the Critical Role Ford and Jester live show here in New York at Radio City. And I wanted to kind of give my feelings on it. I felt like having been so invested in kind of the Critical Role storyline since the beginning, I felt like just sharing kind of a bit of what I went through last night and kind of how it affected me totally, like having really kind of watched since episode one. Um, so first I'll say I loved the show. Um, these guys, they know how to perform. I mean, we love them for a reason, but it definitely shows in person. I mean, you've probably seen live shows of theirs if you're watching, that they put online, or maybe you've been live yourself, but they know how to put on a great show. They know these characters so well by now. This one they were doing the characters from Campaign 2, The Mighty Nine, which I feel like by now is probably one that they might have done the most live shows with them. I can't say for sure, but it's definitely one that they go back to and they slip in very easily. Uh, so I think kind of having gone through everything and just kind of the emotion of just what it's been like since the beginning, I just wanted to kind of express like just my excitement for just being there. I'll start with the beginning. So I was trying to get tickets. I had somebody I was dating at the time, and we tried to go. Well, I invited her to go, and she doesn't know anything about Critical Role, so it was gonna be a sell. But in general, the tickets were a little pricey for two people, so we couldn't swing it. Now, looking at the price for one ticket, it was about the same as like two people. I was looking on StubHub, so it was kind of seeming like, you know what, maybe I'll just do. They had the option to see in the theaters, like $25. You could see the whole thing in the theaters like the next week. But I was like, you know what, at that point, if it's like that, I mean, I was kind of leaning towards that just to save a buck. But I was like, if it's like that, you know, I might as well watch it when they put it up online. And I don't know, just kind of the way things kind of went. It was like I came into like a little bit of money, and I thought, hey, why not spend on the ticket? I went on Ticketmaster. I found a good option for a singular ticket, and I just figured, you know what, I'd go. I definitely was something that I kind of wanted to be a part of. Just I didn't know. First of all, it's been 10 years of watching them, and I felt like, you know, like it probably was about time that I switch it from just watching just the stream that's online. You know, I might as well try to see them in person if there is a chance. And you don't know the next time they're gonna be in New York, so I figured I'd give it a go, and I'm really glad I did. So Radio City, great venue. I think very spacious. I wasn't expecting it to be that spacious. It always looks smaller from the outside, but it really is a big theater. It's a great decor. It's like an auburn red with a gold all around everywhere, and it's like a, I want to say you feel like the history, but it's definitely like a more like a classical kind of theater, and I felt like that kind of put me in the element already that I was going to be in for a show. A lot of people, sold out crowd. I was a little lucky though, because even though it probably was sold out, I think some people didn't show up. Some people also left at the break. So I had like a couple of seats where like nobody was in front of me, and I had like a perfect view of the cast. So that was really nice. The person who sold me the tickets actually sat right next to me, and we were chatting it up. He actually was really cool. His name was Dan, and we were basically talking about like kind of like our experiences first going into it, like how I got into it. You know, obviously being since the beginning, not necessarily episode one, but I started on like episode 4 ish, and then I kind of like backtracked, and then from there I've been watching almost everything since the beginning. And he was telling me about how he started in like the third campaign, really late actually, and then wound up working his way back to finishing that campaign, doing campaign 1. He's actually in the middle of campaign 2, so it was a little awkward watching the show for him. I felt like I was like, oh man, like. Well, I will get into some of the stuff that happens later, but it was pretty interesting, like to hear his perspective on that. But it was so nice to see just all the people that showed up just to show their support for this group that we love. And then the cosplays are out of this world. They were outrageous. There's so many jesters, in wedding dresses. I saw a couple of keyless. Some were people the Ruby of the Sea. Some people were Ford. There's like a whole bunch. Everybody really went super in, and it was really. But I saw a really dope Caleb. I thought like that was cool. I was like, man, that guy looks like he's straight out of the art. Just there was a great atmosphere and vibe leading up to the start of the show, and once they began after the ads, you know, they always gotta have to do the ads. So after the ads, it really like took you back to Nicodranas, I believe, and then they started right up. I mean, this is gonna be spoilers because I'm kind of want to give my thoughts, and this will also come out when they put it up online because they asked for no spoilers, and I don't want to give anything online beforehand. Basically, opens up Ford fresh from his bachelor party. They were having a wild night. Him, Bo, and Caleb were going crazy. Obviously, Caleb used a double. That was clever. You know, why not have your fun that way? If you can have one version of yourself supervised. But yeah, like classic for like Travis does a really good job of playing like kind of like an awkward like hero. Like he's like not too comfortable in his own skin, but definitely when it counts, he shows up, and I think that becomes apparent the more the show goes on. Definitely why the marriage is probably happening between him and Jester. Jester has a bachelorette party. That was an interesting bridal group. I found it funny to see Kingsley there. Obviously Essex was part of there. You know, you could take that too. But I think Kingsley, it was an interesting like way to like segue him in. He's not like a major part of the show, but I felt like, you know, it's always nice to see like kind of like Molly Mock return in some way, shape or form. Obviously Kingsley is his end of campaign form. Now, seemed like a little tame though. I mean, I guess the way the story they played is like they went to like a Minotaur strip club as preferred by Beth, and then from there they got kicked out. So then it was like tame and like not really doing much, anything crazy. But like I guess like, you know, just kind of maintaining Jester's like somewhat innocence before I guess she goes into like her marriage. So perfectly fine. Just they did a great way of bouncing it off of who was into it and who kind of made the best of it. So I mean that's kind of just like the way it starts, and then you know, you get into Caduceus basically running a wedding for I forget the wedding planner's name. So what did he? They had a little episode beforehand, like a little 15-minute segment where it was like they were planning the wedding, and that was hilarious. Although I was hoping to get like the whole Ford into feet reference at some point. I thought that was going to be like an hysterical callback. It never really came, unless I missed it. But yeah, definitely it was nice to see kind of that side of Caduceus, because totally you could see how he loves that party so much, and Justin in particular. So he would want to oversee and make sure that they had the best, and especially considering who the wedding planner turns out to be. I think it was definitely a much needed hand, and from there you get to see kind of cameos of characters. Obviously Ruby C is gonna be there. You got the gentleman shows up, which was nice. I thought it was really cool when they had Kieran come in. That was something I was looking forward to. And then they did Keyleth was there, Fern was there. We didn't get like the whole like Vox Machina or Bell's Hells group there, but it was nice that they had representations. Obviously Villia was there, which was a big part of their campaign 2. So it was like just nice little nods. I know forgive me the name. I want to say Xandrin. But the dude who was like really important to Ford, he was there. It was cool. Yeah, it was just like a great way to like put us in the element, Pumont, and then like kind of get us in that feel while kind of showing like how far they made it along the way. Matt really always does an excellent job of like bouncing between characters. So he didn't do too many though. I felt like it wasn't anything to the scale of like the end of part 3 where like he's just like bringing out character left, right, and stuff like that. But obviously this was just supposed to be just a fun one night affair. So he kept it light and just made like nods just to make us happy. But yeah, so they're doing the wedding by the cliffside. The set was great. I think it really did a great job. They put a backdrop that looked like the sky, so like a sun setting sky. So I think like I would have really kind of set the tone and vibe of like romance in the air, all that kind of stuff. I think that definitely is something that like people who were waiting for this kind of wedding for so long, like they did a great job with the production to make it worthwhile to be there. But yeah, first 2 hours, I think it was like it was roughly about 2 hours. We had like 15 minutes breaks, and then 15 minutes for ads about, and then like 2 hours of game, and then like 30-minute break. So like start at 7. I think by the time like it was 9:40-ish, 9:45, we got back into the show, and then from there they were going on until like midnight, like little shy before midnight. So it was a really long show. I thought they got a good amount, but first half is just everything like between characters, like like them like vibing and kind of getting into the emotion of the evening. Everybody falls into their characters pretty seamlessly, and the big reveal that it was the hag. I was wondering. I was like, all right, so combat's coming. Like, who's gonna try to stir up this wedding? And like, it would be great. We would all love it if we were there for like 4 hours of just a wedding. But I mean, this is Dungeons and Dragons, and we all showed up for many reasons. But I think that we have expectations of what's gonna happen in these episodes, and I really couldn't place like who was gonna mess it up. The only ones I was thinking of was like Trent somehow coming back, or like maybe even Ludinus for whatever reason having a strong vendetta with them. So I mean, there was also like the dark horse of maybe like Lucian's back or something like that. And to see that it was the hag, somebody who would want the worst for these characters, especially Jester on a special day, and was definitely like least expected by, like easily forgotten, because it's just such a brief moment. As legendary as a moment is, such a brief moment in the campaign. Like that lady would have harbored so much animosity for his blue tiefling because of what had happened once discovered. So that was huge. You know, like he did like he always gets animated. So like once he started getting animated, it was just like I think that's when the realization comes in. Like, oh, it's that bitch. So that was definitely like a revelation because I feel like a lot of people wanted to pay off for that plot line and we kind of didn't get it in the campaign. So I think if there was any place to do it, like it definitely here was the best. Um, the dude beside me, he was like, "Yeah, I'm not even up to the what the hag is." I was like, "Is she somebody in here before?" I'm like, "Yeah, man. Like, wait till you get there." That's what I told her. I didn't want to spoil another. I was like, "Wait till you get there." I was like, "There's a reason why she wants this lady's life ruined." Um, so that was pretty fantastic to see, and yeah, I mean the combat was really cool. I mean, hags are cracked, like OD. Put him in another plane. Caleb teleported himself away. That was nerve wracking. Just like, bro, like we need you right now. I can't be fucking around. Bo had her Loki moment. That shit was so funny. They even referenced it at the show. You know, I was waiting for it the whole time because I was instantly thought about it. I was like, oh, it's just like Thor Ragnarok. So that was nice. And then, yeah, it was a really good fight. Really tested them. For the most part, I mean, I think like we all know by now if we've watched enough, like the Mighty Nine are like one of the more powerful groups out of the three, and it's like hard for Matt to do combat. I feel like he's learned a lot of lessons, especially he had to have learned lessons after what is it? I forget the end of campaign 3 when they had their battle against the you know the ethereal people, whatever. Sorry, I'm not great with like my mind knows what happens most of the time, but I don't know how to like get all the terms and everything. Like the hive mind. So they kind of roasted them. So I would say like he needed to bring somebody who would be combative against them enough to where we would believe it. And like I think with the Hang's powers, kind of like the way she had like so many legendary reactions, because of the ladies on the back, the other hags, the witch coven. Yeah, so I felt like it was a very decent campaign for them, as best as it can be. I think he also did put the fail safe of the two witches in the back, because it was only a 4-hour show and he did strap for time, so like he knows his players will figure stuff out. So if they need to speed things up, this is the one way they can do it. So yeah, I feel like it was definitely challenging. Everybody had like kind of like key plays. Jester healed, I mean, huge. You know, Laura does a fantastic job of playing the reluctant hero to like an extreme. Not a reluctant hero, reluctant healer to an extreme. And that was fantastic to see. Ford had some clutch moments. Yasha had big swings. She had huge, but she knows how to use that great sword. Caduceus, big plays. I mean, what do you expect from him? I think it was interesting that before everything, Matt whisked away Kingsley and Essex. Obviously, maybe he didn't want to have too many people in the fight, but as well, he also probably didn't want them to have as much in their arsenal as well against the Hag, especially Essex. I mean, he's cracked. And then I would say kind of I mean Veth, this was a big thing for Veth too. I forgot about how much impact the Hag had on Veth's life. And yeah, like this lady like really tormented her, put her through hell and back as being a goblin. And I think like there was definitely great character moments from Sam. Caleb used Wish spell, which was super dope. We saw like a bit like a high level spell play. People using 8th, 9th level spells, counter spells. Tongue twisting was a thing. I didn't know about that in D&D, but that was like almost like a counter spell on a counter spell. And they had moments from the Gons. The Wild Mother came in one play, and then Artagan. It was a lot of just big moments. I think it really heightened up the show by the end. And they do beat the hag. I think it was a little confusing for me, at least as a person, like because I remember cheering at when they broke the amulet when she was like running away, but like she still teleported away. So I'm like a little unsure of like, is she dead? It's hard to tell. I guess not. But on this day, they get to leave happily, and it was a blast. Like I just really had a blast. Then you go like wrap up ceremony. I mean, first Caduceus leading the wedding from the mic. I mean, I think he was really good. Like Taliesin really, he probably took that so seriously. He's like, I'm actually gonna like train how to marry these people, and he did a good job. And vows were off the charts. It was so funny because beforehand, I think it was Caduceus was like, yeah, if Ford does a better vow than you just knock him down, and like you'll be able to pick up after that. And Ford did knock it out the park, but she didn't knock it down. Just knock him down, which was good to see. Jester definitely did one that matched. I wouldn't say exceeded. I would say they're both equal, but they were both very heartfelt. They got everybody in the crowd spooning. And then everybody of the cast kind of did like a toast as well, which was a nice treat. I wasn't expecting that they would do the vows and like say they were married and like we would all be off, but yeah, everybody did like kind of their own little speech. And I think it came more apparent to Caleb, to everybody in the crowd, that they were really kind of aware that this show was for us as much as it was for them. And I could really appreciate that in that moment. I know we all did. Just it's we'll get into a little more of that in a bit, but it's just a special feeling to have that from them when they didn't have to do that. I can't think there's anything much after that. I think they kind of wrapped the show. They took their bows and then we kind of went on our way. But everybody seemed to have a great time. It's just I feel like for a price of any ticket price, for the most part, reasonable, it's gonna feel worth it. Like their shows are phenomenal. Like watching them, being there, either way, you're getting great performances from everybody across the board. And I definitely recommend it to watch some of them, even if you haven't, because I mean you can jump in. Like this one though, I would say this is different from the London one that I remember last time. I feel like this one had a lot more of like, you have to know a bit about what's going on. But for the most part though, it's just something that'll just make you very feel good towards just like the story that these guys are putting together. Yeah, I mean, and that was kind of like this show. It was really nice. I made a friend too, so we're gonna the person I met there, we're gonna talk about campaign fours. Like it's nice to have like a critter buddy. I don't really have any of those. He was telling me the same. He's like, yeah, even my D&D friends aren't really into it, but I mean, how could you not be? Like, if maybe it's a barrier entry, perfectly understandable, but once you're caught up, I feel like you got to be in for the long haul. Yeah, so love the show. Definitely recommend it if anybody has a chance to see in your hometown or wherever you stay. I can't wait for them to go 10 more years, because it has been a great 10 years so far, and I'll get into that a little bit now. I felt like it's so surreal to see them in person doing a live show from the first campaign. I remember being in like a very small apartment. I was rooming with a friend of mine. They passed away, rest in power. And I was working from home, and it was kind of like the president was very corporate, so I really had to kind of like be on the computer all the time, be in my room. I wasn't leaving my bed a lot. I was almost sick to the one point because of it, and it was really hard on me to like think that there was like more to life than kind of like just like my four walls. And I had like my bed was on the floor. I didn't have a bed frame at the time, and like I just had like the TV at the end of the bed, and I would watch YouTube. I'll have like my PlayStation hooked up and I watch YouTube. And I just remember looking through stuff and just being like, everything is the same. Like all the content, like there's nothing new. Like it really seemed like my life had just become so monotonous just to make money, and I was starving for something more. Then I saw, I don't know if it was like Craghammer at the title, whatever it was at the time. It was like episode 4ish, I think, and it was like D&D, and I was like, oh, you know what? I also like to watch like long form content, so I saw that it was like a few hours, so I would just throw it on. I was like, oh, well, you know what? I'll have it in the background while I do my other stuff. So I put it on and I started watching, and I hadn't played D&D in years, so I wasn't expecting like follow the rules format or anything like that. But hearing the voices, instantly I was like, oh, I recognize that person. And it was like, oh, we're voice actors. Like, you're a voice actor. So I started looking them up, and I was like, oh, these are people from all stuff that I love. And I think that was like a cool element of it, to be like, oh, well, people who actually are big in the industry, or big enough. Like voice acting, I think it probably wasn't as heralded as it may be now, or at least like them particularly, because like now they're like super mega huge. But yeah, they were like definitely legends if you were watching and playing games, watching shows and playing games at the time. So it was like, oh, well, this is super neat. So like, let me just watch these people just sit around and roll dice, and play characters. I'm familiar with RP. I do like grew up doing a writing RP, so like I know what it's kind of like to put in a character, even though I haven't played like D&D in a while. I was like, I had like an idea and an appreciation for it, and then from there just like kept like from episode 4, whatever it was, to, like going back to like episode 1. I watched them all back to back to catch up. I wasn't watching like live on Thursdays, but I was watching on Mondays, and because I think that's when they were like uploading at the time. So to me, like Monday was the day for a long time until I started watching like the live streams on Thursday. Yeah, like I think my favorite thing about it, like when they started getting big. I mean, obviously if you've probably known them for a while and you've seen clips of them from the first campaign, you're probably seeing the one where like their t-shirts sold out. Like that was a big thing. I think one was like they were getting food sent to them while they were playing. Like I thought like that was definitely a telling, like people are like really into this. Like I know like in the beginning they had like a chat, and it was like at some point it was like, dude, you couldn't even tell the chat was being said. So they just got rid of it after a while. I mean, they just grew and it grew and it grew. And it was, for me, it was just so many moments in like that campaign, like maybe like not a couple are like slower than others. I think every campaign has like slow moments. That's kind of what I liked it for. I liked that they hung out. Like I thought that was dope. Like to me, like I think I always watch the show to watch a group of friends do that, in hopes that like my friend group can reach that kind of level. Maybe not become like a super mega ultra corp, but just have that kind of vibes. So it was just really great to see like kind of just like how they went from just like more like a freeform kind of game, and even in the first campaign they just hit so many hype moments and character beats, and I was just like hooked. I was like, these characters are who like I want to watch over like other shows. Like it was like there were some good shows at the time, but I was always like preferring that kind of storytelling. People were like, "You're watching this again?" I was like, "Hell yeah, it's the best show available in media." I had fun with it too. Like just kind of my approach to it, just the way I watched it was always like an event for me, so it was a big thing. I loved like when they had the segments where in like the first and second campaigns where they played the art with the music. I feel like that really like helped immerse into the story as well. Like you don't really get that in campaign 3, which is like a shame. I know you can like go on online, but I think like seeing it in between the breaks, I mean that really hit special. And you like kind of piece together things through the art of like what happened for like special moments. You see what was special to people enough to do the art. But like for 2 campaigns they really had that, and I think like that was really neat of them to do, and definitely was something like I look forward to. Now I think it's being seeing them live, it was just like everything like a full culmination, you know. Like I remember watching their live show once. I think it was like they had started campaign 2, but I think they did the search for Grog in the middle of that campaign. I can't remember, whatever it was, the first show that they did where they played the theme that they had for campaign 2, whatever it was. I remember hearing people singing that and chanting that in the crowd, and it was like they obviously bewildered the cast, but even at home I was like, man, like we're like because I consider myself a critic too. I'm like, we are devoted, you know, like we know word for word everything. Like this is our show, this is our comfort zone, this is our go-to, and to be there live for that moment when it came on. They had an audio issue in the beginning, and like we were like, they had the words on the screen though, so we were still chanting and making it happen. And eventually the audio picked up, and then we just got into the groove and did the theme song. And I mean, it was just so hyped to see, and like just so pleasant to be around, like just those like-minded individuals who are there to see this special group of nerdy-ass voice actors who are playing Dungeons and Dragons, who give us so many special memories over the years. And I was just a surreal feeling to like see them go from the low quality stream that they had in the beginning. You know, I mean, they did their best, but to just like a whole production now, you know, and like this isn't the only live show they're doing. I mean, I just watched one they did the other week, the one they did with the Bells Hells. Like, you know, they're still going strong. More than likely, I mean, campaign 4 just started. More than likely, they're gonna go another 10 years, and I don't think we can ask for anything more of them. I mean, right now we got the creme de la creme, and anything else is just icing on the cake. So we gotta take it in stride. But they really put in their most into giving us the best quality of this type of game that they're running, because it's a game for them. Yes, it's a show. Yes, they do certain things to build the drama, but I think at the end of the day, they are playing a game, and they're pretty respectful of rules. Really cool. While the show was going on, the dude next to me was like, he's like a DM, he said. So he was like counting the stats and stuff and making it add up, and like everything was kind of aligning for the most part. So it was nice to see, like, you know, how true they stayed in the game, particularly, and like just yeah, like it's still them. Like after all these years, it's still them. They're still spirited. You know, they're still key players. Like a lot of them really do know what they're doing. Like they're definitely better than when they started. But in the beginning, you can also see like kind of like the intro to that. So like, you know, like I think like Sam definitely missed a clutch. Like definitely had clutch moments again. I mean, Rish is always like somebody who knows what they're doing. Although I think in this one, like Bo is definitely targeted. We'll say that much. But yeah, I mean, Laura's a gem. You know, that's our Jester. You know, we were all there for her on her special day. Oh my gosh, when she walked down the aisle, I was like, that is such a Laura and Jester thing to do. And it was just super neat. Like how they did it. Like they just really respected the audience and just wanted to do the most as possible. And I'm so grateful to have been able to discover them randomly that one time, all those many years ago. Over 10 years now. It's crazy. But I wouldn't change the ride for any other way. and I'm probably going to be watching for another 10 more years if they do it. And if for any reason they decide to switch it up and maybe not do it themselves anymore, I'll keep in tabs with Critical Role, but I will always cherish what I had in these campaigns with this group of people. I love them, as much as they would love all of us. So I feel like let's just take a moment to appreciate that and look forward to the future of what else they can do, because they are worth the investment. I mean, it's a show too, and Mighty Nine is also coming as a show. Like, people didn't believe me how good it was until they watched the show, and then like I felt like so validated when it did came out and they were watching it, and then as well, like, there's also moments in the show where I'm like, man, this takes me back to the campaign, and the campaign was so good then. So they've come a long way, and I'm hyped to see where it goes. And I had a blast last night. Really, really, really want to see what happens next. If they're ever in New York again, maybe I'll check them out if I can swing it. Hoping to be able to, because totally worth the price of admission. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the Ford and Jester live show as well, because it's probably up by now, and maybe you agree with like some of the feel-good moments that I pointed out, or maybe you have your own opinions, maybe something stuck out to you more. I'm trying to go off of memory, so I probably don't remember everything, but I can only like want to just make you be glad that you're critters and being part of the Critical Role family, because it is one of the most enriching fandoms that I have been a part of, on par with even like my love for like sports teams. So I think that's saying something, and I will be ready for what happens next. This is me kind of just yapping about everything, yapping about last night, yapping about my feelings towards them, just being part of the ride and the journey. Hopefully that you guys are enjoying your own ride with Critical Role. So I'm Valiant Epics. Y'all remember to stay epic. Peace.
All right.